The golf ball that wouldn't bounce. A ninth grade memory from high school, as told by Rich Gilley, based on my personal memories from high school in the early 1970s. Names and some details have been changed or generalized for privacy. This is shared purely for entertainment and nostalgia. Some of my best memories come from my high school back in 1971 when I was in ninth grade. Back when gum was cheap, hair was long, and life felt like one big adventure. We had inspiring teachers, unbreakable friendships, Friday night sports games, cheerleaders who could shake the bleachers, and those unforgettable winter and spring concerts. But the real magic always seemed to happen during lunch in the cafeteria, where high school mischief had a habit of finding me, especially on the day of the golf ball that wouldn't bounce. This whole comedy of errors started because I fancied myself quite the amateur magician in those days. From middle school into high school, I was that kid. I'd hop on my motorcycle and ride the 5 miles into Hempstead to the fun and gift shop, where I'd blow my allowance on every trick I could afford. I put on little community shows for Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Kiwanis Club, Elks Club, and even a few brave middle school classes. I was basically a one-boy entertainment revolution. One fateful afternoon, while buying a new disappearing coin trick, something in the display case caught my eye. A small, innocent-looking box with a picture of a golf ball streaking through the sky like a comet, leaving a beautiful rainbow trail of smoke. The label proudly announced Smoke Golf Balls Rainbow. Wow, I thought, this would be absolute gold in my magic show. I bought a few boxes, 4 balls total. Each had a little colored dot on the side indicating which color smoke it would supposedly produce. When I got home, curiosity got the better of me. I took one out and dropped it on the floor to see if it bounced like a normal golf ball. Thud. It hit the ground like a dead fish and just stayed there. No bounce, no roll, nothing. Huh, that's weird. But it was getting late, so I shrugged it off and put the balls away. I figured they were just cheap magic props. Little did I know they were actually packed with enough combustible fireworks powder to launch a small NASA mission. A few days later, as I was rushing out the door for school, I spotted the box on my shelf. Perfect, I thought. I'll bring these in and show my friends. What could possibly go wrong? Famous last words. I completely forgot about them until lunchtime in the West Cafeteria. I was sitting with my soccer teammate, let's call him James. We were both defensive fullbacks on the high school soccer team. James was a legend in his own way. Short, stocky, built like a walking fire hydrant crossed with an ox. The guy was strong enough to bench press a small car. In all the years I knew him, I never once saw him smile. Not once. He walked around with a permanent scowl, like the world owed him money and was late on payments. Nobody messed with James, ever. But because we played defense together, I was one of the few people comfortable enough to talk to him. I pulled out one of the golf balls and casually mentioned how strange it was that it wouldn't bounce. James stared at me like I'd just told him the sky was green. What? There's no way a golf ball won't bounce. Before I could say, wait, it's a special trick ball, James snatched it out of my hand like it had personally insulted his mother. He stood up dramatically in the middle of the crowded cafeteria, raised the ball high like an Olympic shot putter, and slammed it down with all his considerable might. Thud. The ball just sat there, dead, mocking him. James's face turned red. "This is BS," he growled. He picked it up and hurled it down again with pure rage, the kind of throw that said, "I will defeat this golf ball." That's when the cafeteria declared war on sanity. The ball let out a demonic hiss. Then, whoosh! A massive, violent explosion of bright green smoke erupted from it like a genie that had been trapped for 1,000 years and was very upset about it. Thick green clouds billowed out with ridiculous force, swallowing half the cafeteria in seconds. It looked like we'd unleashed a chemical weapon from a bad spy movie. Pandemonium exploded. Trays crashed. Girls screamed at pitches that could shatter glass. Kids were climbing over tables, coughing and waving their arms like they were being attacked by bees. I took one look at the growing toxic green monster and did what any intelligent survivor would do. I ran for my life like the cafeteria was on fire. The last image burned into my memory was James's face, a priceless combination of total shock and murderous fury. I had never seen him look like that before. I bolted so fast I probably set a new school record for the cafeteria dash. Later that same day, while I was in the main lobby trying to act normal, one of the star gymnasts on the team, a curly-haired, red-headed, ridiculously jacked guy, let's call him Kurt, approached me with a big grin. "I heard you've got golf balls that don't bounce. Let me see one." Who was I to deny science? I handed him the purple-dotted one. Without hesitation, he wound up like a professional pitcher and fired it at an angle across the lobby floor as hard as he could. Ignition. The ball took off like a purple comet on steroids. It hissed wildly, bouncing off walls and spewing thick purple smoke everywhere, leaving psychedelic streaks like a malfunctioning tie-dye machine. The entire lobby quickly filled with swirling purple fog. Once again, I exercised my elite survival skills and vanished faster than a magician's rabbit. A little while later, the inevitable happened. "Gilley, report to the main office." My stomach dropped. I walked into the assistant principal's office expecting suspension, expulsion, or at least a very stern lecture. Instead, he looked at me calmly and asked if I knew anything about the smoking golf balls. I put on my best innocent choir boy face and said, "Yes, sir, I was in the area and saw the smoke, but I don't really know anything else about what happened." I lied like a rug. The assistant principal just stared at me for a long moment, then simply said, "Okay," and let me go. I had dodged a bullet the size of a cannonball. I'm not sure if James ever got caught, but I think Kurt did. That crazy day taught me one of the most valuable lessons of my entire teenage life. If you don't fully understand what something is, if the instructions are written entirely in Chinese, and especially if it looks like it belongs in a fireworks factory, leave it at home. Some magic tricks are better left unperformed.